Students, welcome to Shet Vidya Mandir English High School and Junior College of Science and Commerce at Vasai East for the e-learning module. This is the part 2 of the previous module, Unit 4, Lesson 5, The Old Man and the Sea book review. So students, I, your English teacher, Mrs. Archana Bathija, explain you this chapter further on the text basis. Standard 10th, Lesson 5. The Old Man and the Sea, the book review. So students, now I think the novel is clear to you. As we read the text, it will become simpler for you to understand. An old man, an experienced Cuban fisherman, has a run of terrible bad luck and is unable to catch any fish for 84 days. His young and devoted apprentice, Menolin, has been forced by his parents to start working with another fisherman. The old man resolves to sail out further than all other fishermen and attempt to catch the really big fish. On the 85th day, he succeeds in hooking a merlin with his bait, but the merlin is too strong for him and starts pulling the boat. The Old Man and the Sea is the story of the old man's struggle with the merlin and his later battle against sharks. So students, on this page you understand the story as we had discussed. Here we discuss about a phrase, a run of terrible bad luck. A run of terrible bad luck here means the fisherman was going through bad days, the difficult times. Here apprentice stands for the helper. Menolin was his helper. He resolves, or rather he decides to sail further. He attempts, that is, he tries to catch fish. What about the word bait? Here it is, he in hooking a merlin with his bait. Bait is a fishing hook to which food is attached to catch fish. So now students, this is the story of the old man's struggle. Struggle here stands for the violent efforts that Santiago makes with the merlin and his later battle, or rather you can say his fight against the sharks. Please note down the difficult words with dictionary meanings in your notebook compulsorily. As the text proceeds, you have social and historical context of the book. What do you understand, students, by social and historical context? So the story is related to the real life. The settings for the struggle that Santiago went through in terms of any human's difficulties and to overcome them. So those social settings, that time when he actually struggled, how you can relate his situation with your own self as a reader, or how our author relates it to himself, that we read on this page. Hemingway's novel is based on real events, that is, on real happenings, the real incidents, and it also draws heavily on his own life. To draw heavily means he can relate it to his own life. He had experience of fishing in the Cuban waters, and like the old man, he was also a fan of baseball. So the author can relate it to his own life incidents where he himself has fished in the Cuban waters, as well as he was a fan or he followed the baseball game. He loved the baseball game. He worked for the Red Cross during the First World War and was injured by shrapnel, a small piece of metal that flew during the explosion of a bomb or a weapon to hurt people, when he was in Italy. So what are the pains that he went through, that Santiago also went through? Hemingway also talks about the need to struggle against defeat or death, how you have to face the defeat and death consistently without giving up. So here it is about how determination and endurance can help one win in this struggle. Determination means something you do not quit or never give up. Endurance is your capacity or ability to continue the struggle or during the difficulty. The old man is at the end of the novel very near to death, but we know that the story of his suffering and loss will live on in the memories of the people of his village, because the old man had been, students, he had been an inspiration for the people in his village. Until ultimately his story becomes one of triumph. Triumph is victory, because the tales of his life will live on even after his death. He's been an inspiration for one generation to another. This novel, The Old Man and the Sea, was published in 1952. So now this is the second incident or the social context where the author is relating the novel to the day-to-day life of the people. Earlier what it was his personal experience, now it is his social experience. The novel was published or rather printed in 1952 when people were trying to recover from the mass destruction wrought or rather caused by the two world wars. And this tale of endurance, this story of the Santiago's endurance and his ultimate victory immediately struck a chord with the readers. What is to strike a chord? To strike a chord means to relate, be able to understand or to be in place of Santiago, because the people had come out of the two world wars. World wars was a time when even after the destruction that was caused by the wars, people got inspiration to start their lives again. Even losing their near and dear ones, they kept their instinct to survive very high. That is how the story is related in the social and the historical context. So students, we move with the writing style. As we progress with the writing style of the book, Hemingway's language is simple and pithy. Very important to know what is pithy. Brief and full of vigor. Something which has a deeper insight. It looks simple but has a deep meaning. He mostly writes in short and straightforward sentences and practices an extreme economy in his use of words. His words are very straightforward and simple, but yet it gives a deeper meaning. For example, even though the story is of a simple fisherman and his tribe, but it is about his courage, Santiago's courage, hope, inspiration, as well as being a strong survivor. So that is how it is about when a person can relate to his own life. This simplicity in writing style is deceptive. Deceptive here, it means it is different from what it actually is. A reader can read his work again and again and find new layers of meaning every time. Every time you read, there is a deeper meaning which you can understand and still continue reading it for the next time. You don't get bored with a book. After reading about the writing style, we proceed towards the thoughts. As we had discussed earlier, here the author talks about my thoughts. So the critics and the admirers, even as students or readers, you give your thoughts, your opinion about the book that you read. The Old Man and the Sea. The reader writes, I first read this novel many years ago when I did not understand it at all and I was left unimpressed. Unimpressed is not much liking the book. In spite of this, a vivid image remained with me. Vivid means something which is very deep in the thoughts of mind. It remained in his mind, in his memories for a long time. An old man holding on to his fishing line with the last of his strength. Now, recently, I read this book again and was extremely moved. The formidable strength of the old man's character. What is formidable, students? It's causing fear as it is giving. Formidable also means intense and inspiring strength of the old man. His inspirational strength of his character. The quiet devotion also of the emphatic Manolin. Empathetic means someone who is able to understand his problem and he is able to share his feelings. So Manolin, though his parents stopped him from going with Santiago, but still he continued caring for his master. He understood his difficulties and his problems. So it is about being empathetic. Manolin and the relationship between the two are heartwarming. Something for us to remember. Hemingway's descriptions of the sea and the creatures of the water are also beautiful. The situation is also lively, students. Something which is new for us to read. The Merlin fights for its life. Here survival is both for Santiago as well as for the fish Merlin. The Merlin fights for its life desperately, that is, with lot of difficulty. And it's hard to know whether our sympathies should lie with the old man or with the Merlin, as both are living beings. Merlin is also a living creature. Though being a fish, it is a creature that has life. As the novel progresses, the old man and the Merlin are inseparably linked because both stand for the same ideal, both stand for the same cause, both stand for the same, they signify the same endurance, and that is a noble struggle against destruction. What is that ideal that they stand for? A noble struggle against destruction. Noble means of a high rank, a struggle which you cannot just take it as normal, it's which is beyond a person to understand. A noble struggle for against destruction. So we all are here reading a novel for survival, our instinct of survival. So students, as I complete the chapter, I hope everything is clear about the novel as well as about the review of the novel. Now it is your time to read one such good book. Maybe you can read a book written by Ruskin Bond or by Hemingway. You read the book and prepare a review on any book of your choice with the help of the given points. Storyline, social and historical content, writing style, and your thoughts. Please attempt all the textual questions. Thank you, students.